around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. Yeah,
get your boots ready. We're about to go on a trip where we wrestle, nobody settling or calling it quits. You're here for the grit, bet you this stuff is amazing. You're stumbling, welcome to the bump in the apron. Step into it, the hardest part of the ring. Here to bring fun, yeah, in this art he is king. It's the best thing, making sure you don't tap out. Don't go soft with the hardest podcast out. And it's not just another one, it's clear. Off the rest, in this content, none contest. Take the nonsense off the steps. You know it's nothing but pure gems when it's coming off the chest. Get it? Now it's time to sit and relax. Get your mind blown away, ain't no skipping a track. Have you paying more attention, no listening gap. Get everything I ever wanted, no giving it back. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome once again to the Apron Bump Podcast. I am your host, Kyle, aka the hardest part of the ring. You saw the title of this podcast. You clicked on it. You saw WrestleMania 11. You said, hey, I need to listen to this review. And I know what you said to yourself. You're like, man, WrestleMania 11, what a fantastic WrestleMania. I mean, the pageantry, the spectacle, just the in-ring magic is the only way I can really describe it. The visually perfect, audioly perfect. The build was tremendous. The atmosphere. I mean, when you think of the grandest stage of them all, when you think of what WrestleMania is, right? And I know all of you share this opinion. I know we all, when we think of that spectacle, that magic, we all think of Hartford, Connecticut. We all think of the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. And, you know, a typical show, you might think, hey, we're looking at this ring. It's probably got 4 ring skirts, but not this show. They said, you know what? I think we only need 3 WrestleMania ring skirts because 4, it just adds to the unpredictability of it, right? Visually, it's unpredictable, but hey, from an audio standpoint, you only hear some of the promos from the show. Sometimes, you know, you go backstage to Nick Turturro and the audio is just like, you know what? I don't think you need to hear this right now. Sometimes 1, 2, 3 kids cutting a promo and it's like, because sometimes you only need some of it, you know? But yes, WrestleMania 11, just a tremendous. Okay, I'm done. What a fucking, what a, how do you describe this? This is how I'll describe this show, right? So as many of you may know, I have 2 cats. And occasionally I'll be walking barefoot in my apartment. I'll you know, open the door to go to the bathroom. I'll take a step in and I'll step in wet cat shit, right? Some of you might know what I'm talking about. The feeling you get when you are barefoot or even like wearing socks, maybe that's even worse. And you take a step and you just hear a, and you know what it is. You know immediately what it is, but you don't want to admit it. But then you look at it and you're like, man, there is some cat shit on my foot. Lots of emotions going through your mind. Like, fuck, I got to clean this up. I got to clean myself up. I gotta shit, but now I gotta put that on the back burner so I can clean this cat shit. And then once you clean it up, you're like, man, now I gotta shit with this shit residue in the back. All of that emotion is what what I felt watching WrestleMania 11. Just what a, oh man, there's not a word. I'm struggling to find the word for this show. It was not very good. I'm going to say that. It was, no stars. I'm not even going to give this show stars. Doesn't deserve a star. We cover it all in the episode, so I'm not going to drone on about like why this show was so bad. But yeah, easily the worst WrestleMania of all time. Easily. It's headlined by Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor. That tells you. If you don't know who Lawrence Taylor is, he was a former American football player. Hand egg, as some of you may know it. He was a big deal back in 1995 in America, right? But that's what it is. It's for the publicity of it. It wasn't for the match. The matches were secondary on this show. This show existed for the pictures of Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow facing off. That's why this show existed. It was like not even 2.5 hours. You had some bullshit wrestling in the beginning, but now we're at Lawrence and Bam Bam. That's what this show was here for. Man, wrestling is in such a bad place, dude, because if you're watching or if you're listening to me from week to week, you know that I cover this era, the wars of the 90s. I cover each show of WWF, WCW, and ECW. I cover each pay-per-view, each major event in chronological order, going back and forth between all the companies. apronbump.com, go to the episodes tab, select Wrestling Wars of the 90s to pull up all of my episodes. But if you've been listening to me, you know where WCW is, right? The fact is, right, talked about why this show existed. WrestleMania 11 for that picture of Bam Bam and LT. WCW is doing the same shit. They had a main event just so you could have Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Macho Man, and Renegade all in the same ring together. You want that picture. They even say it on commentary. Oh, this is going to be quite the image in the newspapers tomorrow. That's what wrestling exists for in 1995. That's why the product is so shitty, is because the wrestling, the build-up, the storylines, the promos, the ordering of ring skirts, that's all secondary. It's because we just want this bullshit publicity. And that's why it sucks in 1995. ECW is easily the best right now. I mean, they're working out some of the kinks, but they got some good goddamn wrestling in ECW. And it's only going to continue. ECW is going to keep getting this momentum, and then WWF and WCW are going to take those hardcore elements, those realism elements, and then kind of inject it into their products. And then you have, 97, 98, which all three companies are fucking running on all cylinders. But point is, wrestling sucks in 1995. Wrestling really sucks in the spring of 1995, but goddamn it, does it make for a fun podcast. And no better guest than Dave from the Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. One of my favorite guests to have on here. I've had him on a few times. Had him on for Unforgiven 2001, and also had him for Progress Chapter 11. Chapter 11, now WrestleMania 11. Isn't that fun how things work out sometimes? I'll go fuck myself. But yes, Dave, awesome dude. Love his podcast, as the title states. Him and his co-host, Big Sexy Michael, they cover the Ruthless Aggression Era. They do a deep dive on it. They cover the Raws, the SmackDowns, the pay-per-views, and even some of the heats and velocities, which I've been on a few of those recent episodes on covering heat and velocity, which is a good old time. So go check that out, and go check out all of his episodes. All the info in the description. Just search for Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. He's on SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. At RA Era Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Like I said, all that in the description. But man, let's get right into it, man. This is a silly one, folks, but god damn it, it's a good time. WrestleMania 11, the worst WrestleMania ever. With myself and Dave from the Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. It's WrestleMania 11, am I right?
WrestleMania 11.
Oh, man.
Holy smokes.
So
Holy smokes.
This is like your time period, right? When you were...
Oh, yeah. Right. We've spoken a couple of times now on your shtick. And we've done like Attitude Era stuff where it's quite my jam, like teenage years. We've done Progress, which is completely not my fucking scale. I've dabbled, but it's certainly not my comfort zone. No, WrestleMania 11.
This is where it is. I figure I'll just let you go. I'll walk away. You just do it.
Well, to be fair, there's like 7 matches. There isn't much to fucking do or talk about. It was the night of audio issues. It was the night of WrestleMania 10's main event scattered across the mid card. It was,
dude. I'm gonna tell you
this. It's got to go down as the worst ever. Like a lot of people shit on WrestleMania 9, but WrestleMania 11 has got to go down as the worst ever. Just from a production standpoint, from the point that they couldn't even get 4 WrestleMania fucking banners right ring.
I saw that, man.
Just everything from audio, from like the opening video package, it was all focused on celebrities. And what celebrities? Jonathan fucking Taylor Thomas and Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy.
Home Improvement, man. Yeah. You're looking kind of down, Tim. Man. Right?
Like, the thing is, though, everybody watched Home Improvement for Tim Allen. Nobody watched Home Improvement for Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
He was,
and I'm not even a Yank.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, he went on to do stuff after, right?
I'm not bothered. I'm not afterwards is afterwards. We're on about WrestleMania 11, the showcase of the Immortals, the showcase of the shittest celebrities ever, and a very uninterested Pamela Anderson.
Dude, we will get into... So here's the thing, right? So WrestleMania 11, I've never seen this show before. And I'm watching the show, and I'm looking at my notes. I have so few notes because nothing fucking happened. But regardless, I'm confident we could have a 10-hour podcast on just the bullshit that happened on this show. Like the matches were completely secondary to everything that happened.
Celebrities. That was it. We had celebrities. Audio issues. Like the audio issues were the best. Well, like we had like Todd Pettingill and the backstage guys. They were trying their best. But the audio issues were the best. Where tell them, Todd. Back to you, Vince. And it's like, oh god.
Oh, and even when the audio did work, at times I was like, I mean, I wish it wasn't working. I wish we could not hear 1-2-3 Kid cutting this promo right now. God, but like, dude, just the time that we're in, right? Because in my podcast,
it's a weird fucking time in wrestling.
Because I just covered a WCW show that was, I think, a month before this, and it's kind of wrestling is just in this mindset of like, what can we do to have a picture in the newspaper tomorrow? Like WCW closed the show with Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Renegade,
legends,
and someone else, Jimmy Hart. So it's like, but if you look at it in the newspaper, you haven't watched in a while.
Legends.
Ultimate Warrior's here, and it's all these WWF guys. Now they're WCW. What's that? So I feel like WWF is like trying to like compete at that same vein, which like, look how big we are. Look at all the stuff. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is here. He wouldn't just be in any Jamoke wrestling company.
That's the thing, especially with like WrestleMania at this time, where a lot of fans kind of fail to remember, is WrestleMania at this time wasn't the WrestleMania that people know today.
No,
like it kind of was when it first started, maybe like up to 6. Like with Hogan Warrior, then after that you kind of 7, 8 were
right.
9 was Caesar's Palace, baby. 9 was 9.
It was
10 was obviously the anniversary. 10 was it should have been the crowning of Bret as the next best thing and all this sort of stuff. Obviously you go on, like I said, you go on a year later, WrestleMania 11, your main event from the new era, the new generation of wrestling. Yokozuna's tagging with Owen in the tags for the tag belts, right? Lex Luger we'll get to him in a very fucking short while. And Bret's in his IQ fucking whatever match with I Quit match with Bob Buckland. Like, and that was your main event 12 months ago.
Yeah, it was just a shitty version of that match too.
But like, if I may, let's go to the opening contest.
Please,
right?
please do.
Lex Luger
Lex fucking Luger. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and create the next Hulk Hogan. But we're not quite sure how to do it or who we're going to use. And then, imagine in 2021, a 15-minute segment from a Royal Rumble, not just any pay-per-view, a Royal Rumble pay-per-view is dedicated to the debut of a brand new wrestler, and he ain't fucking wrestling. All he's doing is standing there with mirrors going, with Bobby Heenan going, oh, you're amazing. Look at the biceps, look at the pecs. Right, that was the narcissist. And yeah, he had a relatively decent-ish debut at WrestleMania 9, pay-per-view debut at Mania 9 with Mr. Perfect. It were all right. But then it kind of petered off, and then what do? We're on a ship. We've got Yokozuna, and we want some motherfucker to body slam him. We've got the Steiners, the big Brutish Steiners. We've got NFL players. We've got fucking army vets or whatever. No fucker can slam Yokozuna. What happens? I'll be your hero. Helicopter comes down. Big Lex slams the fuck out of him. USA.
Hey.
He's the new Hulk Hogan.
The Intrepid, right? That was the ship it was on.
Yeah, but then the Intrepid, USS
good
Intrepid.
Shit. I hope you're not shitting on that because that was peak Lex Luger.
No, I was
All
a
right.
Lex fan. No, I'm down. No, this is positive, right?
All right,
this is positive. So we're there, right? So then what do? We have the Lex Express, which is a bus that travels all the way around America. It's red, white, and blue fucking propaganda all over.
It's good.
We are pushing Lex hard. So we get to SummerSlam 93. It's Yoko, the evil foreign champion, versus Lex, the Lex Express. The new... What do? We have him fucking lose. Win by count out.
Uh-huh. Well, hey, at least they made up for it. At least they made up for it at WrestleMania 10, right?
Done. Yeah, well, that's it. They try again. So we try once more. We get to Royal Rumble 94. Yeah. Bret's still the man. Vince still knows that Bret in this era is going to be the man, right? So how can we have Bret not lose, but then we want Lex to still be Hogan 2.0?
Just have them both win.
I know what. We'll have them both win. Right? And then Vince knew. Vince pulled his little one like he did in the Rumble 05 with Cena and Batista. He did his thing where I'm going to see what the fans think. Mm-hmm. Who do you think won? Did he win? Yay! Did he win? Yay! Yeah, Luger, you're fucked. And then we roll on. He goes to WrestleMania. We know what happens. He doesn't beat Yoko, thanks to Perfect. And then it just goes like that to the point where we're now in the Allied Powers with the British Bulldog, the big roidy bastards going up against the Blue Brothers, the Harris Brothers, or was it? The network in WCW.
Nothing says the grandest stage of them all like the Blue Brothers. Fucking
Twin Magic. These were the Bellas before the Bellas were the Bellas.
Oh, dude, these guys. For anybody listening that doesn't know who these guys are, picture Cameron Grimes, but make him a foot taller and zap his charisma, and that's who you got in the Blues Brothers.
And stick him in a potato sack.
Yeah, and throw Zeb Coulter out there with him. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Uncle Zeb was the star of the show. If we just skip ahead to the end of the match, when Uncle Zeb was like, no, it's not a victory. It was a switch. He pinned the wrong man. So Uncle Zeb, you're admitting, right, to the world that your dirty heels have done some switcheroo stuff, yeah? So if anything, it's a DQ loss.
It would have fit in with the rest of the card. Just have a DQ. Fuck it. Who cares, right? God, dude, but...
It was an awful match. It was an awful. For a WrestleMania opening card, it was an awful match. Like, there was that one point that really made me chuckle where they were both, I don't know fucking which Blue it was. They were working over Bulldog and they were keeping away from Lex. One of them hit a slam on Bulldog and Vince went, "What a match!" And I'm like, "Vince, you lying bastard."
No matter how loud you yell, we're not going to enjoy it. Like, literally, I'm looking.
I was like,
I have my notes here, right? And I have my bullets. And I have a bullet that says the Blues are shit. And then the one below it is just the finish. That's all I have for this match because nothing happened. I will say, though, because we're going to shit a lot about this show. But the Allied Powers, their theme song kind of bumps, if I do say myself.
Oh, mate, do you know, if I take my mind back, when I rewatched this, I tried to take my mind back for when I was like, so what we're talking, 90, we're in 95, so I'm like 10 years old, I'm 9 years old, not even 10 yet. I fucking loved the Allied Powers. And what an idea. Do you know, when it works, you've got America, especially how Lex is dressed, very much American propaganda. Bulldog is UK propaganda. The colours, the red, white, and blue, they merge so well. They're both big roidy bastards. They both can't wrestle. the best.
Ico Pro, not roids. It's Ico Pro. Okay.
Sorry. Or as they like to refer to it in 2004, the Simon system.
Oh yeah. Lots of cheese. Oh wait, no, it's not cheeseburgers. That's what he made.
Simon's white powder. Yeah, we know Simon. We know.
Isn't it crazy that Simon Dean feuded with the current WWE champion? Isn't that just a weird how time works itself out?
Over on the Ruthless stuff, we're going through the Simon system at the minute, and it's the next set of like Raw and SmackDowns, which will be after Armageddon 04. And you've got Simon Dean like doing his shit in the same episode that Muhammad Hassan makes his debut. I just feel like all them sort of stuff. I just feel like it doesn't. Something's
lots of misses.
Drugs and terrorism. That's what we're all for.
Have you gotten to the cheeseburger match with Lashley yet, or is that later?
No, that's there. That's like in like modern time, in like actually like real lifetime. That's about 3 years.
Oh well,
it takes us a long time to get through it. There's so much shit
me.
to get through. It takes so long to get through it.
Believe me, I
understand.
understand.
And if like all rumors are going to be believed, it's going to take a lot harder because like Peacock's on its way into the English.
Oh,
channels.
hey, have fun with that. They finally got all the Raws and SmackDowns up there though, so you'll be mostly fine.
Oh, so we got all right, okay.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
At least what I'm watching, they got. I think they pretty much got it all. But
well, if they continue, they'll get a strongly worded email if they fuck up with my shit.
When they hear the British accent behind it, I think that's when they'll step it into high gear. That's when they'll take it seriously.
It's not just British, mate. It's a Yorkshire accent. It's a whole different level of fucking accent.
Got a Rich Holland yelling at you.
Anyway, what a shit opening match. Move us on, Kyle, because this is bullshit.
No, we're going to talk for at least 30 minutes about this opening match, I think. So we start out with the head.
A sunset flip got the victory on a Bella Twin Magic fucking special. Yeah.
This is after, Lex Luger and his deadly steel plate forearm hits one of the Blues.
That's it.
And that's
what a gimmick.
It's a great gimmick.
What a gimmick.
Can't do anything else.
What a gimmick.
Give him something. Then,
no scar, though. No scar.
No
Absolutely
scar.
No fucking scar whatsoever.
Well, it's all that baby
Big
oil.
steel plate. Big steel plate inserted, but not one little fucking element of a scar.
Well, that's what happens when he's made of steel, right? Huh? Narcissist? Lex Express?
Right.
I prefer the DiBiase posse myself. Do you remember that? It was Ted, the kid. DiBiase Jr., he had a little thing where he had the DiBiase posse.
Oh, no.
He would tailgate with all the fans out front because, he was over. So everybody wanted to party with him. But
was that before or after he got Virgil?
Man, I think it was after.
Because I remember when they tried and they thought, oh, DiBiase. It's like Vince woke up one day and looked at the list of wrestlers he had and said, oh, I've got a DiBiase. Where's that belt? Where's Virgil? Let's go again.
Let's do it again. Copy paste.
Like Vince woke up in 1984 and then looked at Virgil and thought,
hey, Virgil's that get out of jail free card. You throw him in there whenever and people will love it, I think. Yeah.
Virgil, I can guarantee is somewhere right now. What time is it where you are? Like 5 p.m. or something like that?
4:30.
4:30. I can guarantee Virgil is somewhere, somewhere with a pasting table with a few fucking 2x10s flogging them right now for a tenner.
50, yeah.
100%.
At least.
God bless you, Virgil.
But
AEW needs to sign him. Simple.
It's not him not being eager. He would sign with them in a second. I think. I'm surprised.
I feel like I want to sign Virgil.
You
just to give him some money.
Yeah. You have the money.
Virgil.
He'll.
They could just have him walking around. He's just my butler.
Just sit in the background as you're recording, just holding a briefcase.
Move it microphone when it needs to be moved. And that.
Hey.
You just see Virgil's hand coming.
Pad my head.
Cheers, Virgil.
But man.
But that opening match.
It happened. Yeah, the Allied Powers win. Bing, bang, boom, and both teams kind of just vaporize within a matter of
nothing. Well, within like the space, what we on 95, so within the space of like 18 months, the Blue Brothers are now the 8-ball and Skull and 8-ball in the Disciples of Apocalypse.
Yep, the late 90s.
Yeah, and then that doesn't work. Then they go to WCW, the Harris Brothers, and like I said, then like the network with Vince Russo and fucking whatever they are. And it never really like. Am I right when I'm saying that like they're cousins of the Undertaker?
I know they're
I
close.
feel like they are.
They might be.
I feel like there's some family related, and I feel like because of that, that's why they've always stuck around.
Right.
And because they're twins, and they're both 7 foot tall and bald. But that's where it kind of ends. They're not great.
Bald.
They're really not.
They showed up in TNA for a bit. Do you remember that at all?
I feel like
They were. Oh my God, what were their names? They were DOA. Like they were the same.
They were shit. They were shit.
They had the
no matter
same
where
names.
they turn up, they're shit. They really are. They're going up against two fucking if you look at Lex Luger was a main eventer 12 months ago, main eventer, and Bulldog, SummerSlam 92's not that long ago. He was the star of the show there, and he's had main event matches with like Bret and Shawn Michaels and players like that. He's going up against them two, and that's supposed to be an opening contest of a WrestleMania.
And then you have Tatanka gets involved. You have the $1 million thing. You have Tatanka turning heel, and then Lex Luger's all upset. And then at that point, it's like, fuck this guy.
Well, we all believed that Lex Luger was going to join the $1 Million Corporation.
I did.
I'm not going to lie. No one expected Tatanka to turn. No one did.
It was a great swerve. I watched it pretty
Tatanka was the
recently.
hero. Tatanka was the hero, man.
Yeah.
He was like, he had his undefeated streak and all that jazz, and everyone was like, oh yeah. Everyone was in with Tatanka.
Wait, what was the chant again?
You heard it.
But Tatanka, again, we're going to see him later. He's just one of 12 guys out there, one of the henchmen.
Guy, the main event.
No, but we can't.
Lumberjack match, but we're not going to call it that.
We can't blow our loads yet. We got to talk about Nick Turturro first. You big NYPD Blue fan?
I can't say I'm not.
I can't. I think he was in The Longest Yard, the most recent one, or as somebody that looks similar to him. But that's all I know him from.
There were no celebrities apart from Pam Anderson because of Pam Anderson. And and obviously Jenny McCarthy because Jenny McCarthy.
Right.
Like I said, because Taylor Thomas, because I never really watched much of his shit, but I knew of him.
Right.
Apart from that, every other celebrity in this, I was like, meh.
Well, we got backstage here, so Nick Turturro is looking for Pam Anderson because nobody can find her. That's the big thread running throughout the show is where is Pam Anderson?
They've got audio problems. So even if you found her, it don't matter because you can't hear a fucking thing that's going on.
It's hilarious because there's audio issues, right? Like you said. So you can't hear Nick Turturro saying anything. And Vince McMahon's nervous laugh is my favorite thing that happened on this shit. Well, we'll get back to you later. And then they just cut to the crowd. They're just panning at it's like when Owen Hart fell and they just pan to the crowd. Like they don't know what to do. So they just move on to the next match.
It's them little moments where every now and again, especially through any like sort of Vince McMahon commentary, where you realise that, oh yeah, you're the guy in charge of all this. So every now and again, when it doesn't go wrong, it's like...
He's just veins popping out of his head.
It's okay.
Okay, well, that's fine. Next matchup.
It's like it's one of the things now that you imagine the shit that's going through his mind goes through like Michael Cole's mind or Corey Graves or anyone when they fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like you imagine how fucking much it hammers. You'd be like, yeah, sound, yeah. Yeah.
But goddamn, we only have 3 ring skirts, and now we don't have any audio issue. Oh, come on.
Oh, mate, the ring skirts. I don't get that. I really don't.
Just ordered 3 instead of 4.
Now, like I was saying earlier about how WrestleMania is not as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Like in this year, in 1995, Survivor Series, the buy rates, it outsold WrestleMania.
I believe it. Yeah.
So it wasn't big. But you're having not big and not giving a fuck. And I feel like only bringing 3 ring skirts is not giving a fuck.
Because
it's WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 10 was a big deal last year.
But Jonathan Taylor Thomas is here.
You had WrestleMania 9 the year before, which was a bad WrestleMania, but it was a big spectacle, right? The outdoor, it was crazy. Huh? What's up?
Yeah, I heard you. It wasn't a bad WrestleMania.
Okay.
it was sort of like.
You a big Giant Gonzalez fan? Is that what's happening here?
No, I'm a big WrestleMania 9 fan.
Okay.
In general, I am WrestleMania 9's biggest fan. I think the spectacle. I feel like you had to be 8 to 9 years old.
That's fair.
You had to be. Yeah. If you were me, then WrestleMania 9 was just. I just feel like it was. Yeah. It's just people don't understand. People don't get WrestleMania 9. They see it as comedy and goofy, and that's exactly what it was.
Right.
That was the time. It was amazing. So retract bad.
Hey.
Use any other word and carry on what you were saying, Kyle.
Okay.
I apologize.
WrestleMania 9 was shit, and then you have WrestleMania 10 was. But they were like these crazy like spectacles, right? And now you have WrestleMania 11 in Hartford, Connecticut, in the
Hartford Civic Center.
Like it's like nobody gives a fuck about like what's going on, and
that's it. We've gone from Caesar's Palace to Madison Square Garden to the Hartford Civic Center.
Yeah. And no, but speaking about not giving a fuck, we got Jeff Jarrett in this next match. The Intercontinental title is on the line. Double J is the champion here, believe it or not.
Yes.
With the roadie, old road dog, BG James
The
out there
real
with him.
Double J.
Yeah.
The real Double J.
Facing off against Razor Ramon, along with 1-2-3 Kid. So Double J makes his entrance, right? Then they cut backstage to a 1-2-3 Kid promo because he's with Razor. More audio issues, so it's like cutting in and out, but you can kind of tell what Kid is saying here. You can see how the nervousness on his face. It's a bad promo. It's probably good that we didn't hear most of it. The match is fine. I mean, they had a match at Royal Rumble 95, which is pretty good. This match here was kind of like a shitty version.
You yellow belly coward!
Oh man,
That's right. I always remember watching Rumble 95 and like, I don't know, like for me, the Royal Rumble 95 is another one that is shit on by a lot of people, and I quite enjoy it. But I think again because it's that time, how old I was and stuff like that, and it was very glamorous. Like Royal Rumble 95 had a very different feel to any Royal Rumble that I'd seen probably ever before. And I think like the 60-second feel of the actual Rumble match, a lot of people shit on it, some people like it. I'm a bit indifferent. But you got Razor coming out in the yellow trunks at the Royal Rumble where it was we've not seen Razor come out. The whole thing, the presentation was like a Mania presentation, how it should be, where it's different. And then you just knew some dodge were going to go down. And obviously he lost the title because he's a yellow belly coward. And he had a bad knee injury and he's like, Chico, fuck you. And he comes back in, loses the title. And we're here now. But obviously since then, he's now got support of the Kid.
To even the odds,
like
right?
You said, his promo abilities aren't great. But for me, this entire feud, like it doesn't really, there's no standout moments or standout matches. Well, not even moments within the matches from the Rumble, the Mania, the In Your Houses that carry on. Like we go, I think a bit later on we get Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid versus Jarrett and the Roadie. I think at the next In Your House or something like that.
Right.
And there's no standout moments. It's the Click, and it's Jarrett because his dad's on booking committee.
Well, I'll tell you what stood out in this match to me. So both the baby faces storm out there and like before the bell rings. Then the bell rings and they're already like in there, they're in the ring. And then Razor's pyro goes off because they're like, goddamn pal, I paid for all this pyro. I don't care if the match already started. You have the big R. But then the match happens. It's fine. Nothing really, like you said, nothing really stood out to me. And then the finish, it's a DQ. Razor goes for the Razor's Edge. And then Rhodey gets in there and chop blocks him. And then it's a disqualification. And then that's it. WrestleMania.
That's it. So it's WrestleMania. You have your IC champion, your secondary belt within your big fucking corporation. It ends in a DQ finish and your champion retains his title at Mania. Like this straight away tells you, well, this feud is only just begun. Where Mania shouldn't be like that. But like they've kind of started this feud before the Rumble. Obviously Jarrett's returned. Like you had Jarrett, sort of like 94, he was there. Like King of the Ring 94, he was there. But I don't think they had like the big Jarrett oomph.
He got kicked by Chuck Norris at Survivor Series.
It helped kill the Undertaker at the Rumble in 94.
He did. He was there.
But he wasn't really the Jeff Jarrett there. I think the Roadie helped Jarrett because like, a manager always helps a shitty mid-carder.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Jeff Jarrett, for all his dues, he was shit at mid-card, he was shit at fucking main event level. He was only there because Vince Russell was his pal, and he was only world champion for as many times he is because he booked him fucking himself.
Yeah, believe I'm watching TNA, and believe me, I'm with you.
Don't get me wrong, he's
I'm
a decent wrestler. He's steady mid-card.
That's fine.
That's it. Jarrett's mind, I'm fucking Triple H.
Yeah, but I mean, Slapnut stuff was fine. But even if some of his TNA
You know,
stuff
the
was
thing
good,
is, though,
but
I never got that. I was just on the cusp of, like, if I would have been a year later or maybe a year and a half later, I would have got the slap nuts and all that sort of stuff. As that age I was watching WCW then, I just thought it was something Jarrett said.
Yeah.
Didn't realise it meant having a wank.
you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's why I started watching Jeff Jarrett. I never knew this the stripper with the tassels, like whatever he's wearing, this Chippendales outfit that he's wearing. I didn't know this was a thing until recently. And it's man, it's been a culture shock, let me tell you. But yeah, like you said, man, the Rumble match was presented more like a WrestleMania match than this one. So if they literally would have switched them, it would have been fine because like they had the whole
absolutely.
Yeah. But
the Rumble just had that different feel than, like I said, than a lot of any other Rumbles had before. Where this Mania, it was just a you had your shitty farty new gen fucking pyro that come down from the rafters and went and then fucked up again. But it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a Mania. Yeah. But this match, like at the end, what baffled me is that Kid's the one that's getting the heat back. Like Ramon's getting the heat back. Kid comes in, he goes to town on Jarrett, town on Roddy, and like him and Razor, they get the heat back. The refs break it up. Like the crowd was so much more into the post-match attack and all that shit.
Yeah.
And they were the entire match where
Kid was going in. He was like
2 matches in a row. It's not a Mania feel. It doesn't give you that Mania buzz.
Yeah, because Kid, he was like, man, this is the only thing I'm doing on this show. I'm going all out with these karate kicks in there. And like you said, the crowd was into it, and then Double J just puts him in the figure 4 after the match, and then they kind of just saunter out, and Jarrett's like, I'm the champion, now Kentucky or Tennessee or wherever the fuck he's from. And then that's it. So they cut backstage, which is hilarious.
Nick Taruto's back again with his microphone.
Because they do it exactly like they tried to do previously. So everybody's like in the background the exact same way, like IRS is back there or some shit. And, Nick's like, looking for Pam Anderson. And, it's Jenny McCarthy. Or whatever he sounds like, because Jenny McCarthy, I guess.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that.
So
nailed that.
Jenny McCarthy is the stand-in for Pam Anderson, I guess. And Vince, once again, with this fake laugh. That's not Pam Anderson. Yep, and that's what happened there. The good thing they tried that twice. They were like, no, we can't just scrap it. We need to have this content on our show. I quite like
Vince's line as well. I love Vince's line at the end where he's like, we're having all kinds of fun tonight. Nervous laughter, nervous laughter, nervous laughter.
Who's having fun tonight, Vince?
Not fucking us, Vince.
Maybe it's this Major League Baseball referee that's the special guest referee in this next match for some fucking reason. Why?
Because it's all about celebrities this evening. The wrestlers do not fucking matter.
And
it's all about the celebs.
Nothing says celebrity like an American League Baseball umpire, because everybody just knows. I don't know. Maybe it's a big deal. Larry Young. Anybody listening? Anybody know Larry Young?
Yeah, his poster's there. I've got his poster there.
Oh, let's see. Yeah.
Right, can you see it?
He's shirtless, right?
Above my bed.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. He's like John Cena. Can't see him.
Oh, that's right, because it's above your bed. That's why I can't see him.
That's it.
But, oh, fuck. This match made me so mad. King Kong Bundy versus The Undertaker. Fuck this. Look, here, I'm going to tell you about this storyline, right? And what this is like.
Oh, here we go. I'm ready for this. Because then I'll tell you about the story.
Yeah, because you know. You could probably add to it.
Go ahead.
But this is just a first-time viewer talking, right? So, Ted DiBiase repossesses the urn of The Undertaker at Royal Rumble, I believe, right? And it's this whole thing where that's where Undertaker gets all his powers. Undertaker is worthless without this urn. And Ted DiBiase has it. You can't get it from me, Undertaker. And what does Undertaker do? He just walks outside, punches Ted DiBiase, and grabs it. I got it now. 3 months of build. I could have just done that before. It's fine. But no, we're not done with that, because the fucking Godfather comes out that just takes the urn back from Paul Bearer, says he's gonna melt it down into a necklace or whatever the fuck, the Supreme Fighting Machine. He's gonna melt it down, make it into a necklace. So Godfather has the urn, so Undertaker doesn't have it, but Undertaker still wins the match. So I guess he doesn't need the urn. So why does it matter that Kama has it? So we had all this build. Oh, he has the urn. Undertaker lost the urn. That's where's all his powers. Nope, he still has them because he just beat King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania. So I guess it's fine. So The match, nothing fucking happens in this match. You have King Kong Bundy.
No.
Just, slowly splashing. King Kong Bundy doesn't give a fuck in 1995. He's just holding them. He has them in a sleeper for a while, and then Taker body slams him, gives him a clothesline, not even a tombstone or a choke slam, just clotheslines him for the win. Yeah. What else you got?
So I guess you didn't enjoy that match then, no?
Fuck this match, dude.
It was. I think the thing is with the corporation in general, right? It has got to be up there with the shittest heel stable in the history of professional wrestling. They never win. It doesn't matter who they wrestle. It doesn't matter if they wrestle fucking 1, 2, 3 Kid and Hardcore Ollie for tag belts at Rumble. Your two best boys in Bam Bam and Tatanka. They don't win. They never win. And then what the corporation do? They bring back people like King Kong Bundy, who was at fucking WrestleMania 2 or 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then they also bring back Nikolai Volkov, and they get him involved in the corporation. The corporation fucking stunk. This storyline stunk.
Nikolai Volkov.
Everything you said about, like, it's all about, you know, the most irritable thing in this match was where, as you said, Undertaker, he leaves the ring, goes outside, and gets the urn, he gives it to Bearer, and Bearer opens it, and it's the light. Now, it's not the light that we saw at, like, SummerSlam with Undertaker vs. Undertaker, where they dim the fucking lights. Oh, what did they do at WrestleMania? Oh, we'll keep the lights on and just have this fucking torch beaming out of fucking urn.
That's good, right? It's his powers.
This is just this pay-per-view summed up just in that segment. We won't even trying to dim the lights a little bit. We don't give a fuck. Fuck you, paying customers.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Joke.
Their audio doesn't work.
I'm a cancelled fucking network.
Their audio doesn't work. They're probably just like, man, we can't risk turning these lights off. I mean,
fuck them. I bet it's one fucking generator and one plug and some dickheads going, I'm unsure, I'm not bothered, I don't know what's going to go on.
It's probably Jonathan Taylor Thomas back there controlling everything. That's probably why everything's fucking up, to be honest. Could have used Tim the Tool Man to fix it, huh? Home Improvement? Anybody? Home Improvement?
Oh, yeah. I always like the scene where he goes to hit the hammer and the nail and the hammer drives through the fucking...
It's good shit, pal. It's good shit. But,
good shit, pal.
Yeah, this match, the storyline's a mess, and I think they're going to have a Kama versus Undertaker match at the first In Your House or something. I'm assuming. It seems like it's going to continue. I can't wait for that.
I believe that's how it happens, yes. I believe that's how it happens.
It's more Taker's friends just sticking around. I mean, Godfather, it's worth it for Godfather later down the line.
I think that's the thing. It is a lot more Undertaker's friends, but the corporation fucking stinks. And it slowly, as the year comes to a close, the corporation slowly comes to a fucking close as well.
Thank God. It's like, hey, let's add more people. Let's add Nikolai Volkov in a t-shirt. Yeah, maybe he'll be over in 1995. I don't think so. But
and then it ends with the ringmaster.
Does it? Does he join it? The corporation?
No, well, after the corporation kind of dies, like Ted DiBiase's last crack at the whip is managing the ringmaster, and then he fucks off to become the 4th member of the NWO.
Ah, yes. Yeah, the ringmaster, I mean, he didn't do anything, so I think he kind of just fizzles off, right?
No. He wrestled a little bit on Jacked, I think, and that was it.
He wrestled against S.A. Rios a few times, and I think that was it.
Yeah. Him and Brian Christopher had a feud, I think.
Oh, right.
At some point
I remember that. Too much. The team too much.
Nothing. Then nothing ever materialized.
What a shame. What could have been? But
I know. I heard they were going to go with his name like Chili McFreeze or something before the ringmaster, but they went with the ringmaster instead.
Man, I kind of like that name. Yeah, people shit on Chili McFreeze, but I feel like that could have gotten over.
Could you imagine? Could you, like, if you were just, like, that gimmick's dead in it, dead in the water. Like, nobody ever talks about fucking T.L. Hopper, the guy that was the plumber from the new generation.
Yeah.
That people wouldn't talk about Chili McFreeze. It'd be the same concept. No matter who played the character.
Yeah, you brought up the plumber. I'm just realizing now that Duke the Dumpster Drosy is not on this card. I think that's what hurt it, if I'm gonna be honest.
Well, there's a lot that's not on this card. Yeah, there's no Brooklyn Brawler.
No Doink, no Dink, no Pink, no Stink. None of them. No. But there is Mongo. We do have Mongo on this card. Thankfully. So just me. So there's like a backstage segment here where, because Lawrence Taylor, he has his all-pro team with him. It's like 5 or 6 of other football players. and they all cut little mini promos backstage.
They all cut the same promo. They all cut the identical promo to each individual wrestler. So you've got some NFL players saying IRS motherfucker, some NFL players saying so-and-so motherfucker. Yeah, the same promo.
I'm gonna tell you what though, these promos, as generic as they were better than 1-2-3 Kid. They were better than Diesel's promo later. They were better than all this bullshit Bob Backlund did. Like these
they were
football,
trying. They were trying.
I believe them when they were talking to me. I was like, okay, yeah, fuck IRS. You right. I don't remember any of their names, but
no, I know Mongo was there.
That's all that matters in the end. It should have been Mongo versus Bam Bam, honestly, when you really think about it.
But it should have been, because at least Mongo tried, and you could see he must have been a wrestling fan for the work that he went on to do in WCW. But more importantly, the highlight of the show was the chess match between Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Bob Backlund.
I am so
Bob Backlund. Who's Pam Anderson?
I can't stand Bob Backlund. He's so annoying, dude. He's playing chess with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. You know, the kid beats him, whatever, and Bob Backlund's like, ah! And then he asks him like 3 trivia questions, like, oh, what's the capital of Maine, or whatever the fuck he asked him. And then he answers them all correctly, and Bob Backlund just pulls his putt out of anger, and he yells, and he flips the board, he gets out of there. The interviewer, Nick Turturro, is still looking for Pam Anderson. He's not in this closet that they're playing chess in, which nobody really bothers to ask. Why is Bob Backlund playing chess in the dark with this kid? This is a little sketchy to me. But I think it's just Bob Backlund. Just Bob being Bob. Fuck
Bob Backlund. It's exactly in the UK how they used to say, it's only Jimmy Savile. He'll be okay. If you don't know that joke, audience, Google Jimmy Savile and it'll make perfect sense.
Hey, you had a few blokes laugh, I'm sure. But,
Up next, match of the night.
Okay, so I did some research, and apparently, I don't know how valid this rumor is, but apparently Chris Benoit was rumored to be Owen Hart's partner instead of Yokozuna, who Chris Benoit at this point he's one of the biggest stars in ECW at this point, and I guess there's a tie because they both trained in the dungeon, Owen and Benoit, so there's a tie there, but for whatever reason it never materialized. Man, can you imagine what that would have been?
I can't say I've ever come across that rumor before, but that would have been mega, especially because it was ripping it up as something kid, Tiger Mask Kid. No, it probably wasn't that, was it?
Something along those lines.
Benoit,
that might have been Eddie.
Something along them lines.
I think that was Eddie.
Yeah, something along them lines. Oh,
yeah.
Right, okay. But yeah, it was like ripping it up in New Japan and stuff, and yeah, that would have been mega. Like I always remember back like it wasn't the biggest of builds, but like the build was, I've got a mystery partner, and it was always like, especially for me at that age, you're kind of going through the guys that are on the roster at the time and stuff like that, thinking, well, who could this mystery partner possibly be? And then like you didn't ever think, no one ever thought it'd be Yokozuna. Like I'm bringing you like my brother's worst enemy at the last WrestleMania, and I'm bringing you back, and I just thought, the Smoking Guns are fucked. And how did you know? The Smoking Guns are the only one of many few on this pay-per-view that are letting you know it's WrestleMania. And why is that?
Why is that?
Because they're not wearing normal jeans. They're wearing like fucking pastel-colored jeans.
Oh yeah, that's a good look.
WrestleMania. Pew, pew.
Who do you prefer? The Smoking Guns or Billy and Chuck?
Smoking Guns. Smoking Guns.
Whoever it is, Smoking Guns.
I loved Billy and Bart. I loved Billy and Bart. Smoking Guns were fucking class.
Yeah, they were probably one of the more competent people on the card by far. Other than Owen. I mean, that was my main takeaway from this match. Other than just how big and bloated Yokozuna was. Like,
do you know, the thing is with Yokozuna, it really is a sad case. It really is like... This was a guy who WWE repeatedly tried. Yokozuna was still on the roster in 1998.
Was he
still
really?
Getting paid in 1998, yeah. But fucking repeated attempts for Vince McMahon and the team to try and get him go to rehab, lose some weight. Look, we don't want to lose you. Figuratively and fucking literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And Yokozuna was adamant that he wanted to beat the world record of being like the fattest fucking wrestler ever.
Hey, did he beat it?
Well, obviously, that's... I don't know.
Who's it? Haystacks Calhoun?
That's the story I've heard over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big... There was that tag team back in the... I've read it on some article somewhere, a tag team that were both two big fucking mammoth people that but Yoko was like getting close, like the butt end of like 96 when he was appearing, he was knocking on like 660 fucking pounds or something like that, which
easy.
That's a big ass guy. And it's not healthy. And that's the thing. You're carrying all that excess weight around, and not only that, you then trying to perform as a athlete, I suppose. It's only goes one way, and then obviously sadly he passed away in 2002. But for me, like Yokozuna I remember being a kid seeing Yokozuna the first time thinking, oh my fucking God. Instantly, I believed he was Japanese. When I later on found out it was actually Samoan, I was blown away. What do you mean it's related to Jimmy Snuka?
But he has the flag behind him. He's Japanese. They told me.
He's got them Japanese eyes.
Mr. Fuji.
The flag.
I mean, look, if anybody can carry Yokozuna, it's fucking Owen Hart. Like,
oh, mate. The legend. Absolute legend.
He's so good because he's a heel here, right? And he's so good because he'll do all the fancy chain wrestling and all that, like so ahead of his time. But then he'll finish it out with just a poke in the eye. Like, it's just...
Oh, yeah. He does Bret stuff better than Bret. But then, like you said, he'll just be a little cunt as well because Owen is a little cunt. That's why everybody loved Owen, because what a little fucker he is. Like, Owen Hart was one of them that you couldn't wait to see him get his comeuppance. But when he avoided it and dodged his comeuppance, you applauded his actions.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like when he nicked a Slammy award.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? When he
So
went, like, imagine being like at the Oscars and the Oscar for the best actor goes to fucking me. And that was Owen Hart. It's brilliant.
It's hilarious.
R.I.P. Owen. Fucking love him.
So good. In and out of the ring. So good, dude. But yeah, not a lot to this match. I mean, Yokozuna's blown up, as of course he is, because he's 700 fucking pounds. He does take a few good bumps,
and that's only
though.
his right leg.
Yeah. But like there's a part where Bart, it's like the world's biggest hair pull. Bart just grabs Yoko by the hair. But Yoko's bumping his ass off in there, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, Yoko just puts on like a nerve hold onto Bart for like...
Oh, no, that's Yoko was known for that. For his fucking Magna nerve hold. That was Yoko. I quite like the belly to belly he did on Billy. I thought that was like the old Yoko, like, because the thing is, when Yoko was a little bit healthier, he could go, like, even at this time, he could still go, like, because he had that Samoan wrestling in his blood. Yeah, he was just a big fat fuck.
Right, it was just the cardio that was holding the back. Otherwise, he could go.
He'd blow out within seconds. That's the thing. He'd blow out within seconds. And then he'd be one of them that he'd have to wrestle in the corner, or he'd wrestle up against you, or you'd be running around him. And I think with Billy and Bart, you have got two guys that would happily run, and they did. They bounced off him and stuff like that. They did make Yoko look strong in ways that Yoko couldn't himself, if Yoko was the guy that had to move around.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was as tag matches go, it was like under 10 minutes. I'm glad I was glad at the time with the outcome, because I was always a big Owen fan. I was rewatching it back. I was like, yeah, when Owen got a sharpshooter on, it was always a fuck you, Bret. Fuck Bret Hart. We love Owen. We're Team Owen.
Understood. I can support that, especially after the match later.
Yeah, it was a decent match. I quite like the missile dropkick from Owen as Yoko held Billy up as well.
Yes,
but that was like Owen's always delivered. It's like a fucking bullet. It's pinpoint. Beautiful. But Owen's Owen. What more can you say when you watch an Owen match? You can't watch an Owen match and not be excited and not enjoy what you're watching, because it's fucking Owen Hart. Yeah,
he's a diamond in the rough on this show. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But the finish comes when Yoko hits the bonsai drop onto Billy. Bart breaks up the pin, but Owen just kind of takes care of Bart, and Yoko literally is too blown up to pin him. So Yoko just tags in Owen Hart. Owen Hart pins Billy after the bonsai drop, and new tag team champions, Owen Hart and Yokozuna. What a
we did it.
What a team. What a fun, what a sitcom that would have been, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck home improvement.
If only they were faces. They
They should have been. They might as well have been.
Coming to the network, Yoko and Owen. Oh.
God, but speaking of hearts, we have Bret Hart, everyone's favorite Bret Hart versus everyone's favorite Bob Backlund. In an I Quit match.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper. God, I'm This fucking guy. So it's an I Quit match. It might as well just been a submission match because that's essentially because they had, I believe it was an I Quit match, right, at Survivor Series. And that was the whole, it was like a 25-minute match. And that was the whole thing where they brought in Helen to throw in the towel. You know, Bulldog was with Bret. Owen was with Bob Backlund. It was that whole thing. And that match was pretty solid. But then they have this match, which I don't know how long this match was. It couldn't have been longer than 10 minutes. Like, it was a very rushed.
I can tell you, it was 9 minutes and 34.
There you go. And
there you go.
This is the match here. Somebody touches somebody, and then Roddy with the mic goes, "Do you quit?" And they say no. And then the other person touches the other person. Roddy goes in, "Do you quit?" It's that for 9 minutes and 30 seconds and nobody quits.
Where you forget there is that Roddy Piper didn't have a portable microphone. His microphone was on a wire that was in the corner.
Yeah.
So every time somebody had to, let's say Buckland put Bret Hart in a submission move, where Rodney was, he had to go to that corner, pick up the mic, drag it across, and I'd just say, "Go, do you quit?" And they go, "No." And the best thing at the point when Piper was sick of asking Buckland. I think Bret had him in some form of fucking leg lock. And he was sick. "Buckland, do you quit?" "No." Like, the thing is, Rod, he didn't mix up his verbiage. It was always, "Do you quit?" Not, "Do you give up? Have you had enough?" It was always, "Do you quit?
Yeah.
Do you quit?" Right? And he'd had enough asking Buckland. And he went to Bret, "Hart, do you?" And he went, "No." Like, "I'm fucking wrestling." Like, in Bret Hart's mind, this is real shit, man. He does not quit for nothing. His dad will kick fuck out of him if he quits.
Yeah, there was.
This is wrestling.
It is real shit. I think afterwards, I don't know at what point this interview was, but Bret at one point at least considered this his worst match of all time. Which, I mean, because
I can understand.
the psychology is there for what it is, right? You have Bret working the leg, you have Backlund working the arm because you have the sharpshooter versus the chicken wing. Like, that's all fine, but it's just silliness with Roddy Piper in there constantly in there with the mic. But then I
think the thing is, like, with the chicken wing, like, they did, in fair dues to WWE at the time, they did put off, like, obviously Bob Backlund, like, world champion for a gazillion years back in the day, but they never really, they kind of did in the match where Backlund turned. It was like on Superstars or Challenge or something like that. It was wrestling Bret, and it was nicey Backlund shaking his hand, but then Backlund lost and he snapped, and that's where he got him in the chicken wing and did him in, leading into obviously this feud. But coming into it, they didn't really give the fanfare that they would like in modern day if you had a guy that was coming back as a world champion for the length of time that Backlund was.
Yeah.
So he was never seen like, I always remember Royal Rumble 93. Backlund was like 42 minutes or something like that in the match. But they weren't bigging him up as former world champion. It was just, this old guy, Bob Backlund, making another run for it. But what they did do, in fair play to him, was they put over the chicken wing like the most dominating fucking submission move that you could ever be in. If you were in that move, you were fucked. There was no chance you were ever getting out of it. Simple as. Never. So, on that, if you have that element with a guy that actually looks dominant and actually, like, you do look like Bret could lose here, but no, you've got Bob Backlund, who's a scrawny fucking looking 50-year-old.
Yeah, but we are just...
And that's the issue you've got.
We are just a few months removed from Bob beating Bret for the title at Survivor Series, which is just like a weird... Yeah,
because it was simply transition, because then the day after 8 seconds, it drops it to...
It's, just a weird period for Bob Backlund here. It's just, like you said, they built him... They didn't build him up, really. It's the lack of build that kind of contributed to all this. And you have Bret who you're trying to make your new star, and he's involved in this nonsense. And it's like... But, to be fair, he does get the win here, Bret Hart, and he actually wins with his own chicken wing. But is it just me, or did Bob Backlund not say "I quit"? He just growls into the mic, and then they ring the bell.
Yeah, but okay, you name me an "I quit" match throughout the years where the actual guys actually said the words "I quit."
No, they all do. Randy Orton lost to John Cena.
No.
Yeah, they do.
No, they say yes. They say yes. They don't say. If you actually go through history, there is not that many that actually say the words "I quit." I
beg to differ. I think at least modern "I quit" matches.
I'm going back. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna get back to you.
Okay.
Sorry, Dave.
I'm trying to think of like in your time period that you're in, because you're what, late 2004. Because they didn't really do I Quit match. They did like a Ric Flair Triple H I Quit match or something.
There's not been that many. If you go back, there's not been that many I Quit matches over the history. I'd probably say we're not in the 20s.
Hey, mate.
I'd say the matches that they have, I'd say over 60% of people have gone, yes.
You know what?
And not actually I Quit. Look at one of the most famous ones. Mankind and Rock.
He said I quit.
That was a pre-recorded.
Nope, Mankind quit. He said I quit.
That was a pre-recorded.
I don't know what you're talking about.
From a Sunday Night Heat interview. You're full of shit.
You're just throwing out all these conspiracy theories. I don't think you're.
Move on.
No, I'm
is it not time for main event?
Do you quit? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like it's time for main event. I want to talk about Sid.
Sid, but we got to talk about Diesel first.
Diesel.
Oh, he is not the silver tongue that he would become in the NWO.
No.
My favorite part, I don't even remember really what he said. It doesn't really matter. But there's a point, because Todd Pettengill is interviewing him. And at some point, Diesel like stutters. He like fumbles over his words, and then he gets visually pissed. And he starts yelling, because he's talking like this, you know, Shawn, I'm gonna beat you or whatever the fuck, and then he stutters. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna destroy you, Diesel power." I don't know why he just turned into Hulk Hogan there, but that's basically what happened.
The thing is, though, Kevin Nash, he goes on to obviously show it when he goes into WCW. His promo skills are fine. There's no problem. I think when he's a cunt, when he's a bad guy, be a knobhead, be cocky, be yourself. Be a dickhead, because he does come across, with all due respect, Kevin, you're all right, but you do come across a bit of a dickhead.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Be a dickhead. Like, facey good guy, Diesel, loving the kids and Hulk Hogan and all that. Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
fit. He would agree with you.
I feel like if they would have gone with the Shawn Michaels gimmick, so like Shawn Michaels Heartbreak Hotel, that gimmick, if you had that in this era, but Diesel was that guy.
Could have been something.
I just feel like it. I feel like Diesel. Yeah, I feel like Vince wanted a new babyface, and he saw it. He saw 7 foot, and he went, "Wow!" And rest is history.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like he had a lot of faith in him, because for this. So we're here. We're at the world title match, which, by the way, is not the main event. So that's one tick for not having faith in him.
Oh, apologies. Yes, I said main event. I'm so used to the word. Sorry, I'm not used to fucking Bam Bam Bigelow and a footballer being at main event.
You get used to it after a while. Don't worry. But we have the WWF title on the line. You have the champion Diesel versus Shawn Michaels, and this is a pretty good match, other than a few hiccups here and there. But so remember, the whole night, Nick Turturro was back there scrambling, looking for Pamela Anderson. Where's Pam Anderson? Because remember, at Royal Rumble '95, Pam Anderson was out there with Shawn Michaels when he won the Rumble, and they were like,
she wasn't going nowhere near that sweaty fuck.
Oh,
she looked so uninterested, even more than she did tonight.
So here I thought, because spoiler alert, Pamela Anderson comes out with Diesel, so she's aligned with Diesel, and we have Jenny McCarthy out there with Shawn Michaels. So I see this, and I'm like, okay. So that's why Pam Anderson looked disgusted at Royal Rumble. It was all a storyline, right? Because Pam Anderson is an actor, after all. So it's like, okay, I see what they're doing. But then as the match progresses, because Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy are both sitting ringside, and every time they pan over, Pam Anderson's just like...
So bored. I'm so bored. Get me out of this fucking place.
Borderline like angry that she's present here. Like, God, even Jenny McCarthy's at least like pretending to be excited.
She's getting into it a little bit.
Yeah.
But Pam Anderson's going, they really did not pay me a fucking enough money for this.
I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's not enough celebrities. So, but don't worry. No. Goddamn Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Here they come.
He's finished his chess match. Now he's not only is he a chess champion, but now he's the guest timekeeper for this match.
Yeah. And Nick Turturro's the guest ring announcer. Let's get him out.
Just throw them all out there. All of the 3 or 4 celebrities we got, throw them out there. The glass breaks. Diesel comes out, which is a badass looking visual. I have to be, to be fair.
Definitely. Oh, that's the thing. The theme, the gimmick, everything's great about it. It's like, I love Diesel. Mm-hmm. I was a big Diesel mark growing up. But looking back now, it's like, Diesel.
Would you say...
It's just any other name, just Diesel.
Because I didn't watch throughout this time period, so I don't know. Would you say he was similar to like what Roman Reigns was when they were trying to shove him down people's throats?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing is though, like if you go back to when Roman, I want to say the Rumble 15, I think it was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He eliminated like when he was part of the Shield, and he eliminated like 10 guys, and it was that natural. It was so natural. It was brilliant to see. The fans were getting behind him. Like 94, where Diesel was still supposed to be a bad guy, and he was throwing Quang, Owen Hart, every fucker was going all over, and he had that great like 10-minute run. Diesel was getting a big fanfare then.
Yeah,
like, I feel like, and then you went on to like the Raw King of the Ring '94. You had the match with Bret, where it's IC champion versus WWE champion. I feel like then they could have pulled the trigger with Diesel, and I feel like it went on for a bit too long. And then when it finally, you had the turn at Survivor Series, again they could have pulled it there.
Yeah,
But no, they kind of kept holding on because Bret was still the guy.
yeah.
And I think that was the thing. I think that's the only thing that stopped Diesel from being too much brah in your face Diesel, when it was just a bit, he's there.
And they kind of humanized him too
Bret
eventually.
was always the guy.
Because this is the point where he's
definitely.
throwing out first pitches. He's doing all the media appearances. So it's kind of like, okay, he's kind of lost his appeal. Now he's just an asshole whose name's Diesel. Like, you're not Diesel, you're Kevin. But but
He's petrol at best.
yeah. But
Gas. Big gas.
He's mid-grade gas. What a yank he is, huh? Right? Who's with me?
That's it. That's it.
But the match is good. I thought, by far the best match. Maybe, the main event was pretty good too, I guess, for what it was. But there was one point, because, Diesel's dominating in the beginning. Shawn's bumping all over the place for him. It reminded me of SummerSlam 2005 when he was just doing backflips after every punch and kick. But there's a point where Shawn gets knocked to the outside. And there's clearly a point in the match where Diesel is going to try to hit Shawn, but he's going to accidentally run into the post because it's going to injure his ribs, and then that's going to be a thread throughout the rest of the match. But there's a photographer out there who's in the way, and Shawn gets knocked out to the outside, and you could see him like shove the photographer like really hard, but the photographer's like, no, I'm taking pictures. That's why we're here. We're taking pictures. It's spectacle. It's Wrestlemania. And then so they do the spot where Diesel runs into the post, but it's like a really awkward looking spot because the photographer's in the way, but he's still selling it. Like his ribs are broken. Shawn even does, I don't know if this is like an audible, but Shawn does like a splash from the apron to the outside to further kind of solidify that, Diesel's ribs are hurt, and that's kind of the way to neutralize him because he's this big bastard and we got to put him in peril somehow. Shawn hits a beautiful elbow like 3/4 of the way across the ring. Diesel fights.
Oh, elbow was beautiful. I thought Diesel was a bit too far away, but Michaels,
he hit it.
It's brilliant.
You forget that he's Shawn fucking Michaels and he can do anything.
The thing is with this match, it was, I don't know if it was it the Heartbreak and Triumph, Shawn Michaels. Was it the autobiography or DVD or one of them? Well, Michaels has come out and said with this match that he purposely went out of his way to try and blow Diesel up early doors.
Really?
Because he wanted to show to Vince McMahon that he was the man. Like if you look at the jackknife, where Shawn Michaels botched the fuck out of it, he completely sandbagged. He's gone out and he's come on record and said he openly went out of his way to make Diesel look shit and to make Diesel get knackered straight away, so he could make Diesel look crap and say, look at the state of Diesel. And one of the U shoot, I think it was, Kevin Nash a few years later, they questioned Kevin Nash on this, and Kevin Nash said Shawn Michaels wanted to be the guy, and looking back, he probably should have been.
Yeah, I was about, because they're buddies,
Even
right?
Kevin
They were
Nash
buddies
knew
back
himself
then.
he was shit.
Yeah, I guess, man. But
That's the thing, they were buddies back then, but Michaels was that fucking much of a dickhead. Michaels was still like, friend or no friend, I want to be the guy and I'll show you why. And I'll show you why in the horriblest way, by making my opponent look crap.
well, hey, within a year or so,
The Shawn Michaels way.
yeah, Shawn's champion, Diesel's out of there. So, I guess it worked in a way, in a shitty way, but
Absolutely.
because there's also a spot where they're like fighting on the outside. The ref hops down to the floor and he like sprains his ankle, so he's like dead basically on the floor. Then Shawn in the ring, him and Diesel are in the ring. Shawn hits the Sweet Chin music, and covers Diesel for like 20 seconds. So like he had him beat. Like we all saw it. Like he should be the champion here. But the ref is just a klutz, and he just fucking cascaded down to the floor.
His ankle up on her. That's like modern day. Speaking of the refs, by the way, were you aware that this was the first WWE pay-per-view where the refs have gone from the pale blue shirt to the pinstripe referee shirt?
I did not notice that.
This was the first pay-per-view.
It's a fun fact. It's a new era. It's a new generation after all.
Go. It's a new generation.
But yeah, and Diesel he fights back, gets a slingshot, a few clotheslines, and then that jackknife they talked about where Shawn like pretty much lands on his feet and then falls.
It was terrible.
Terrible. But don't worry, because nobody's going to talk about the jackknife, because we're going to talk about, Diesel wins, yada, 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 but then all the celebrities are in the ring. Yeah, you got Pam Anderson, Jenny McCarthy, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Nick Turro. They're all sitting there bored as Pyro goes off in the background as Diesel holds up his title.
But why doesn't this end the show?
Well, you got
understand.
LT, Dave.
Yeah, but
LT.
You're gonna have to do your best to fucking try and win me over with LT, because apart from him being a bit of a fucking felon and enjoying partying and drugs and all sorts of shit, right, and wrestling at WrestleMania 11. I heard he was a footballer, but not my football, your football.
Handball, egg ball.
Yes, rugby with pads.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a LT, and I never have been an LT. From an outsider, no one has a fucking clue who LT is. So for me, this, with the fanfare and the pyro and the celebs, should have been the main event closing. Vince saying, "Thank you, good night."
Yeah. Well, apparently they're like kind of because he played for the, I don't even know what team he played for, honestly. I don't know a lot about LT myself, but I think they're like close to where he played. I could be totally wrong.
Green Bay Rocket Ships or something.
I think the Rocket Ships, actually. He played a few seasons as the shortstop.
Played with Brock, Ron Simmons, and Rocky Maivia.
Yeah, it was only them. They somehow won the World Series.
That were back for.
Yeah. But, so, we're here. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor. We got 87 people ringside.
The corporation versus the football.
I'm gonna run down these names of the corporation people we have, because we have Erwin R. Shyster,
Legend.
the
Legend.
Supreme Fighting Machine.
That's it. Put some fucking stamp on his name.
We have 1995 King Kong Bundy. We have Nikolai Volkov in a shirt. We have heel Tatanka with no face paint.
Legend.
And we have Ted DiBiase, we got Ted DiBiase. Legend. At least we got somebody there, right? Still going today. But we got Lawrence Taylor. He has like all the football players. Mongo's there, among others. It's Mongo and friends ringside.
Mongo and all the others. Yeah, that's it.
There's like football fans listening, like, God, Ken Norton Jr. was out there. How dare you? Like, who cares? But the Matt, look, because when we saw recently that Bad Bunny match at WrestleMania, which was a great match, good. And I heard everybody comparing it to this match, and
yeah, would you say, now I'm watching this, like you've never watched this before doing this for this? Would you say, because for me personally, I'd love to hear your opinion, but for me personally, this is the greatest ever celebrity match in the history of wrestling?
I would support that claim. LT worked his ass off.
This pisses on Floyd Mayweather, this pisses on Bad Bunny, or anybody else that's had a go. You can even class Ronda Rousey in that celebrity bracket if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And her match with Kurt Angle against Stephanie and Triple H was fantastic.
Right.
But as a single performance from a celebrity coming in, LT's performance was outstanding.
Yeah, I think, if nothing else, this is like a one-on-one straight-up wrestling match, whereas, Floyd Mayweather, Big Show, had a lot of shenanigans. He had, Ronda Rousey was in a tag match, Bad Bunny was in a tag match. So if anything else, that's extra props for LT to be able to, even though Bam Bam's in there, he's a veteran, you can kind of, lack of a better term, carry him. But LT out there, he was working his ass off. He was selling. That's one thing. Like, a celebrity can go out there and do some flips. You can do some punches. But when you can, like, sell...
That's it.
That's like
it actually looks like it hurts when you're getting hit or taking a punch or taking a move. When that was a little fly that was coming across. When it looks like actually hurts, and when the camera zooms in, you look like you're in pain and not just lay there like that.
Yeah.
Actually, so it's brilliant. LT was brilliant. Did you notice, by the way, who the referee were for tonight's main event?
Oh, Pat Patterson, of course.
Pat Patterson. So if you want to talk about a guy that could potentially lead a guy or get in a guy's ear, what finer man to have than little boy fiddling Pat Patterson?
He's the Intercontinental champ, first ever Intercontinental champion. Actually, I think is his moniker, not Boy Fiddler, but to each their own, I guess.
It was Ring Boy Fiddler Pat Patterson. That was his wrestling name back in the day.
I must have missed that era of Pat Patterson.
Yeah. It was sure. It was Wrestling Challenge back in like 80s.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go check that out. Is it on the Peacock? It's on some cock.
Pat Patterson, believe it or not, was always on the Peacock.
Okay, there we go. So, anyways, speaking of cock, what irked me about the Peacock version of this show is that there was no salt and pepper. I was a little annoyed.
Salt and pepper. What a man was removed because obviously Vince ain't paying for that shit.
Because Bam Bam comes out, and because the only way you see Salt and Pepper on the Peacock version is because Bam Bam comes out and threatens them, because they're on the stage. Bam Bam comes out, bam, bam. There's a little theme music.
Great theme. Great theme music. So simple, but it did its job. When that played, you knew that Bam Bam Bigelow was coming to fuck shit up. You knew he was coming.
It made it clear that it was Bam Bam, if nothing else. Then they do, we talked about it earlier. This match is here to have a picture in the newspaper tomorrow morning, and you can see all the photographers all ringside. They're doing Bam Bam and LT are in there. They stare each other down for a long time at varying distances. Make sure you get all the angles, all the close-ups. LT, the match starts. LT slaps the shit out of Bam Bam here. This comes out with a lot of fire. Good looking clotheslines. Bam Bam retreats to the outside, and LT just leaps over the top rope, lands on his feet. It's like, damn, man, this guy's a better athlete than anybody we've seen on this show.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
You got some gang warfare outside. You got the corporation facing off against the football players. All that stuff.
I just loved it. I loved it. That was the best segment for me where you had the corporation coming out. It's brilliant. You got Bam Bam's there with the corporation, LT, and then all of a sudden the football players, they all come scrambling over to give it a big one behind LT.
They're out there to work.
Mongo's giving it a big one. He's like, oh no.
I was expecting Mongo to hit a tombstone pile driver on somebody, but I guess we're a few years away from that. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Bam Bam Bigelow's moonsault? For a 350-pound guy delivering a moonsault like that?
For a 350-pounder, I mean, it's not pretty, but if it lands, that shit's gonna hurt.
If you can land it without hurting yourself and hurting your opponent, then
yeah. And him and LT both walked out, so all the credit to him. But he hits the moonsault and hurts his knee. Kayfabe wise, he hurts his knee. Bam Bam does, and this allows LT to hit a jackknife, kinda.
Yes, I love how Vince calls it a jackknife.
It was a better looking jackknife than what Shawn took. I'll say that.
Well, yeah, it's probably the best jackknife of the show. That's for sure.
If I ranked all the jackknives on this show, this would probably be number one.
Absolutely.
LT hits a few clotheslines and hits a second rope forearm smash for the win. So Lawrence Taylor, whatever the third baseman for the Colorado Rocket Chips, wins the match, beats Bam Bam Bigelow.
Go Rockets!
Yeah. Team, it's crazy because LT is blown the fuck up after this match. This supreme athlete, football player, put him in a wrestling ring. He handled it. He got through the match, but he was just toast.
Well, the thing is, though, the match, it was 12 minutes at best or something like that. This was your main event of Mania. The match before went 25 minutes or so. This was your main event, and it went 12 minutes, and he was fucked. But like you said, it was all about that tomorrow morning in the newspapers. We're going to have a picture. Again, what the network didn't have out was this, as this pay-per-view went off the air, you had LT join Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper was singing. They were all dancing and gyrating and having fun. And that was obviously the iconic moment. You got Salt and Pepper, LT. He just beat Bam Bam. Bam Bam fucking Bigelow in the main event of WrestleMania. Who gives a fuck?
Salt and Pepper gave a fuck, maybe. Probably not. They probably didn't know where they were.
Yeah, but They probably did. It was a gig. It was just, oh, well, yeah, we're Hartford tonight. Yeah, we can be there, no problem. Wrestle what? Yeah, no, wrestle. Pepper, Salt, we're at Wrestlepalooza tonight, 7:30.
Do you think it's how people talk to them? Hey, it's Pepper and Salt. They're here.
Oh, yeah. But isn't there 3 of them, so one of them's and. Oh. Imagine if you're the and in Salt and Pepper.
There's a paprika somewhere as the intern. But I thought
fucking five spices sat there going, when do I get mine?
That's WrestleMania 12, okay? You gotta wait. I thought the show ended abruptly though. That makes sense though that it ended with that kind of celebration. That would have made it feel more of like a
the network just cut it straight off.
Because for me, LT wins. He can't his eyes are closed, like he can barely stand up. His team's holding him up, and then the show it's over. So WrestleMania, God damn it. But that's the show, man. WrestleMania. It was, like you said, it was the worst WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's nothing, like I said, WrestleMania 9, yeah, that had its shit, but a lot of that's remembered more for like Hogan, his shenanigans at the end with Bret and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously the camaraderie of and the shenanigans of the entire show. It was bullshit. But this was like supposed to be a legit WrestleMania it was overrun by just celebrities, and Vince is more bothered about the involvement of the celebrities than the actual matches. Because if you look at some of the wrestlers on the card, you've got a decent, it's not the best, but what you've got isn't too bad. But how it was delivered was fucking diabolical.
Yeah,
diabolical.
95 is not a banner year.
Shawn going out for himself. You've got Bret in a stupid feud with Buckland that they should have stopped before we got to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You could have done a Bret and Owen thing again a year later, even though we had the SummerSlam match. You could have done something. Do you know what I mean? Like the Rumble. Do you know what I mean? At the Rumble, you had Bret and Owen still involved together with Buckland and Diesel and Shawn, and Jarrett got involved and everybody else. So you could have done something about a lot more, especially with Bret. A lot more with Razor. I thought the Razor Jarrett stuff was terrible. The Guns Owen. It's Owen. It's great. It's good watching Owen, but again, you could have done something. Owen and Razor maybe, or gone. So many other things you could have done with the talent that you had, and not with the talent that they did, because it wasn't about them. It was about Jonathan Taylor fucking Tom.
It's funny, they did do Owen and Bret on the Raw before WrestleMania, so they just kind of threw it out there. It was more just to build Bob and Bret. It's like you could have just had Owen and Bret again, or you could have taken the Royal Rumble card and just made it WrestleMania, because you had
absolutely.
Bret and Diesel had a great match. You had Razor and Jarrett had a better match at Royal Rumble. Yet even IRS versus Undertaker would have been better than this shit.
And you could have had all the finishes, same finishes. I know it's a bit skanky having a dodgy finish at WrestleMania, but you could have had the finish of the Bret and Diesel where they kept the match going. Someone else coming, they kept the match going. And then it could have had decisive winner, or it could have gone on. But because it was always going to go on, because look at this WrestleMania, every fucking match goes on.
Yep. Nothing
ended this evening.
No, it was DQs. It was shit finishes. It was just get the celebrities out. We have some wrestling bullshit, but let's get to the celebrities.
Celebrities. Where's Pam Anderson?
They finally found her. Thank God. Let me ask you: Were you watching WCW and ECW at this point as well?
ECW, absolutely not. WCW, a little bit. Yeah.
Right, because I'm watching all three of those companies in chronological order, and because WCW is also shit, in a different way, but it's terrible as well. ECW, it is what it is. It's this Philly independent, kind of trash wrestling, quote unquote.
Garbage. Yeah.
But it's entertaining. The shows I'm watching are by far more entertaining than.
Well, there's a reason why. There's a reason why in 2 years' time in WWE land, they take elements of WCW. WCW invade WWE in 18 months' time.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Where you've got Van Damme and
ECW,
the Eliminators and people like ECW, sorry. They invade WWF in 18 months' time, and you can understand where Vince took the idea for the hardcore division and a bit more gritty and a bit more grimy, because that's what people. Yeah, they wanted their sort of. I want to say to an extent their sort of storyline element and the showbiz element and the sort of soap opera element of wrestling, but they still wanted their wrestling. Where with ECW, you kind of got that, but you also got, come here son, with a fucking weapon, which a lot of people did. Like, I remember in England, there was a channel called Bravo, and that first started showing ECW at like 11 o'clock at night, and I stumbled across it, and I was like, I recognise him.
Right.
Whoa. They've got barbed wire instead of ring ropes.
Yeah. You kind of,
like, yeah,
I can understand how ECW kind of got the following that it did, because when you have WWF and WCW putting out this bullshit, like...
Oh, it's so vanilla. Vanilla compared to what ECW putting out. Absolutely.
And then transitions into the Attitude Era, and then NWO, and then we're off to the races at that point. But 95 is it's a rough ski. It's a rough one.
It's terrible. When Mike that I do the Ruthless podcast with, I said I was coming on, and I was like, "Oh, what are you going to talk about?" He goes, "WrestleMania 11." He goes, "What the fuck you put yourself through that for?"
But yeah, you brought up the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast. Where can everybody listen to you guys and follow you guys?
Well, that is it. If that is what you like, and if you quite enjoy these, I feel like my voice is dropping out in a minute. She was a bit fresher than this. It's a bit late over in the UK at this minute in time. But yeah, myself and Mike, we cover all things good, bad, and the Katie Vic when it comes to the Ruthless Aggression Era. We are just coming up to Armageddon 2004, which is that horrible time in WWE where we have that many B shows and we don't really know what to do, how to fill them. It's fucking.
At least Maven's in the main event, though.
It's got to be. Well, Maven it's gone now.
Oh.
There was that one episode of Raw, it's gone now.
Oh, he's done? Okay.
He booked it. He did a Jarrett, he did a Vince Russo, he booked himself in the main event. He didn't win. The week after, he got jobbed out by Snitsky. He's now feuding with Eugene.
Oh, so much for that.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. But yeah, if you like a bit of Ruthless Aggression from a couple of Yorkshire fellas over in the UK, you can find us on all your podcast platforms. Just search for RA Era Podcast. That's Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast.
Absolutely. One of my go-to podcasts for sure. It's just such a fun era to talk about.
Shucks. It's
just your pretty face, really, that keeps me coming back, if I gotta be honest. But yeah, man, always a pleasure, man. Check out Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. And yeah, man, thanks again for coming on, dude.
Always, anytime.
Once again, thank you to Dave from the Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. Check out his podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, check him out on YouTube. Check him out on YouTube specifically. Does a really great job at editing in clips from the shows that he covers. Awesome podcast. Go check it out. But I think, man, are you spent from WrestleMania 11? I know I am. What a goddamn abortion this show was. But if you enjoy these type of reviews, if you enjoy listening about the nonsense of 1995 wrestling, go to apronbump.com. You'll find all my episodes. And if you specifically want to listen to this timeline, go to the episodes tab of apronbump.com. Select Wrestling Wars of the 90s. And it'll bring you right to all of my WWF, ECW, and WCW episodes that I've covered thus far in chronological order. You can also filter to WWF. You can filter to New Generation Era. I've made it as easy as possible to tailor whatever nonsense you like to listen to me spew. So check that out. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm gonna make like Pam Anderson and get lost. I'm hard.
Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud.